hello, hello, my check. 1 2 1 2. Has been a while, guys. Yeah. I don't normally do this kind of content. Let me just pull some stuff up. I am pretty surprised with certain things. See, 1 second. Please let me know if you can hear me, cause do I have some breaking, not breaking news, but I want to share this story with you guys. It's wild, like really wild. So I don't normally do this, but we need to talk about the Lego case, the Lego incident, if you may. Um, if you have not seen the viral video by Reckless Band, against a giant corporation called Bricks and Minifigs, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Might cut that out later, but against a big company. It looked like a really simple shut case of just good versus evil because like it's like a huge corporation against his family and reckless man was trying to help, but it seems like there might be more information to be led on. But that's why I want to keep you up to speed with this stuff. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. All right, it might sound weird, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna double check. 'Cause I don't see anybody talking. Let me see this. It did not go live. Can you guys hear me? Hello, you can hear? Okay. I'm also just, I don't think my YouTube is working. Give me 1 second. People on Twitch, one tiny second. If it doesn't work, I may have to just upload the thing later. Oh, people on Twitch, let me 1 second about the YouTube's being a little bit of a. Oh, there it is. It's working now. My head just broken, I guess. Well, now it's working. All right. So I was told that you guys can hear me, so I'm gonna continue. Is a ridiculous case. So if you guys don't know, let me show you guys here. Over here, you guys can see this is Reckless Man. So he not recently, but a few weeks ago, he had uploaded a video, which is this one. I track down the thief who stole $200 of Legos worth of Legos. Yeah, he basically took up a quest. It's a quest, and I'm not even kidding. It is a quest. The music is a little loud. Let me just lower it. It's slower on mine. I'm gonna just pause it. So if you don't know the Lego incidents, it's this guy named Reckless Ben. Um, he literally took up a quest, and like I said, it is a quest. It's not like eh, if you watch his full video, which I will link it down below. Here, let me just share it right now and link it to you guys. But what happened is he basically on a quest to help this family recover a stolen Lego piece, or if you will to say like I have a quotation here. Uh Misplaced is what the company call it, but if you watch the video you can see the ill intent from the CEO, the company, and even the franchise owners not wanting to return the Lego piece just because they can. They're a big company, and then the family doesn't have the money to fight the legal battle for this, and it is ridiculous. Um, just just to let you know, there's police involved, and they're cahooting with the police just for the Lego piece, and the Lego piece were like, what that for? That's the video that talk about the piece. I will play a short version of it. Someone did summarize it. So, um, basically, Reckless Ben went on a quest to help his family, and the Lego piece, the family owned are Star Wars collections, and then the big company now call it, they basically just do not want to return it, and the police was involved, and they were cahooted with the company to make it as difficult as possible. And there's also some type of religion involved as well. That I don't want to talk too much about it, but this case has been blown to look. It 2 days ago, by the way, just a day ago. This video I'm watching, it was like 4 million. Now it's 6 million. It's getting more and more views. But this is the his first video, which is about the first part where he's begin his quest, and then the second part he actually got arrested by the police department near there. They actually swatted him, and it's not even like someone called the SWAT on him or the company called it. They kind of like work together to swat him. Because there's also exposed video footage, body cam footage of the police. Um, Let me just do a quick roundup for you guys what happened. But
possible involvement of the Mormon Church.
Step outside, everybody. No, don't move. This is the story of how I got swatted, all because of Legos.
It all started when Reckless Ben reported on a scandal involving the Bricks and Minifigs Corporation, which stands accused of stealing $200,000 worth of Star Wars Lego sets from a guy and his 83-year-old father. I'll give you the long story short. Brian Mansell and his 83-year-old dad wrote up a contract with their local Bricks and Minifigs to sell their valuable collection. However, when the store they had a contract with was taken over by corporate, the company and new franchisees claimed that the prior contract was null and void, and that they now owned all of the Lego.
So just to know, they're trying to pretend it's null and void, but the contract is still intact and is still there. But it gets crazy.
Why do you think you would be entitled to our inventory?
This is despite prior discussions surrounding the contract being filmed on video, and a Bricks and Minifigs representative saying that it was still good to go. Eventually, Reckless Ben took Bricks and Minifigs to small claims court and won. However, the company countered by closing the look.
He kind of glazed over the fact that the company also pretended that they do not have it, which the security footage of the couple that was there was a couple that got kicked out of, like, the original franchisee got kicked out that they signed with this family, and how the Brick and Minifix contract word is you give them your Lego, they sell it for you, and Basically, they give them Lego, they sell it for you, and they get a cut for it, and you get your money back. But they were trying to pretend that they never had it to begin with. I'll let it
local
read
store,
off.
so there was no way for them to get the money back. So then they were told they had to sue the franchisees privately to get the $200K, which has become extremely difficult as the Utah police got involved and have arrested Reckless Ben and his team for stalking after he attempted to serve papers. This is where the allegations of the Mormon church becoming involved in the whole thing came to light, as Reckless Ben reckons the reason why the police seem to be targeting him so heavily is because the police officers are protecting the franchisees he's trying to sue. Plus, because this investigation has cost Ben so much, he's been attempting to crowdfund the money needed to pay for legal funds, and essentially the police arrested him for putting up a sign advertising it, and tried to put him in jail for a month. The judge let him go, of course, but the entire saga has been so nerve-wracking for the guy that he's gone to...
So he went is not nerve-wracking, is he cannot be here at the time. They will arrest him and he will be thrown into jail without bail. Like he's not he can leave the jail. They were trying to put him in jail. So he had to leave for Mexico. He ran from LA to Mexico just so he could does not been thrown to jail. Basically, the police and the people, they were just working together trying to get him thrown.
Until it cools off a bit. It's insane how much of a scandal this has grown into, and without a person with money, time and fame helping out Brian Mansell and his 83-year-old dad, it's extremely likely that Bricks and Minifigs would have managed to intimidate him out of it. It's even got to the point that the American Fork Police Department uploaded a media release on the matter, claiming that they've been misrepresented through the entire debacle. Essentially, Reckless Ben's attempts to help a guy who just wants to get his dad's Lego sets back escalated into a series of unfortunate events, with the Utah police force arresting him and thus only pushing further scrutiny on the situation. I highly recommend you check out Ben's channel for the full rundown, as it's extremely entertaining yet horrifying watching it all unfold on camera. See you next time on Lessons in Internet Culture.
I don't want to take too much of your guys' time, that's why, but yeah, Charlie was involved as Mongol. You got a bunch of big streamers talking about it. It is no longer a small case. Everybody's talking about it. It's just, let me see. And because it's so the case got so blown so big that they actually have a hacker hack into the police station and get it uploaded to the internet. But here, you got lawyers talking about it. And then this is the video that I want to watch with you guys. I have not watched it yet, and then we'll talk about and react to it. But again, I know I normally play Roblox, but this case is so big. I was so invested in it for the past week. So I was sick then, and I couldn't do anything about it. I cannot stream. I apologize for that. But I'm gonna try this content for now. If it doesn't work out, I won't do a react channel for a while. But I want to try this out because this is crazy.
Quote, after a $200,000 Lego collection went missing, causing a lot of you to ask me to find it. And after seeing the cops point guns at YouTubers, people get arrested and sued for $1.3 million, I decided enough was enough. This looks like a case for the internet detective, this time in the $10 million Lego studio. So I talked to every suspect involved. What I found shocked me. Okay, before we can find these missing Legos, let's give some background. A massive Star Wars collection was put on consignment at a Lego store called Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. Consignment just means the owner, Brian Mansell, gave it to a store to sell, and he was supposed to get a cut when it sold.
Yeah,
the entire time, he maintained ownership of the collection, and a social media post estimated it to be worth about $200,000. But then, on November 14th, 2024, everything went wrong. This was the night that Crystal and Ben Gorman, the prior franchise owners of the Salem store, got kicked out by this guy. That is Brandon Best. He and his partner, Josh Johnson, ran a sister store in Eugene, Oregon. And Brandon drove up that night to kick the Gormans out. Brandon and Josh would be taking over the franchise in Salem. And this is the exact moment the Legos go missing. As that store is getting handed over, the question is Brian's collection in it? Here's what the official Bricks and Minifigs press release reads. Quote, after taking over the store, we discovered a small number of sets valued between $2,000 to $5,000 that could be possibly related to Mr. Mansell's collection. But there's a problem here. There should be over 10 times that amount in this store, given their internal records and what we know the estimated value of this collection was. So if corporate's saying there was only $2,000 to $5,000 in the store, something happened to these Legos. But what? In order to solve this case, let's think about the suspects. First, who was there that night of the handover? It's only 3 people. Crystal and Ben Gorman, the former franchise owners, and Brandon Best, one of the new owners. These are our 3 biggest suspects, but they aren't the only ones. I want to address a few other suspects at the very start here. First of all, maybe this is just all the result of, plain old thieves breaking in. What about that possibility?
Hi, I am Chris. I was the previous franchise owner who signed the collection agreement.
If you watch the original video, the franchise owner that took over literally admit that they have it. They were willing to give it back. And then they switch it up. And then he got so mad when he got recorded that he said that Reckless Ben was the one that stole it. And that's what triggered the arrest. And then the swatting. But
Agreement with Brian Mansell.
And I'm Benjamin Gorman. I am the silent partner who's really bad at being silent.
We did have a couple of break-ins at the store. None of Brian's collections were in the police report or stolen during those.
Okay, so the Gormans say emphatically it wasn't thieves. But if that's the case, what about the guy who was arrested? I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Reckless Ben. This is the YouTuber who started it all. With a documentary, I tracked down the thief who stole $200,000 of Lego. Maybe it's the perfect crime. Make a video tracking yourself. Now, for our theory, it's worth noting Ben is currently facing a RICO lawsuit by Bricks and Minifigs. He was even targeted with a search warrant for stolen Legos.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
The owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
And on top of that, Reckless Ben was even accused of stealing the Legos by the current franchise owner.
I stole the Legos?
What do you think of the theory that it was Reckless Ben? He stole the Legos.
It's absurd. We didn't even know Reckless Ben. He had no interaction, no relation to us, no relation to the store. That doesn't hold any water.
He was never there
I'm going to be honest. Apologies to the genius cops in Utah who play different.
We play differently here.
But I don't believe that Reckless Ben stole the Lego, mostly because he couldn't. He just wasn't there that night, and I don't even think he knew about these Legos. But who does Ben suspect is holding the Legos since he did this whole documentary series?
The guy who runs the entire company, Ammon McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
CEO,
No, we're not.
by the way.
You're not?
No.
That's the CEO, by the way, of Bricks and Minifigs. He looks like the 80s villain.
Is that a lie?
No.
That's a lie. You did take the Legos.
No. So we have our attorneys have visited, but again, so who's
Brian Mansell.
Okay, and who is that?
He's a guy who had he had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Nope. Never happened.
My name is Ammon McNeff. I am the CEO of the Bricks and Minifigs brand.
So my name's Matt McNeff. I'm the COO of Bricks and Minifigs.
The people you just saw are the McNeff brothers. They agreed to speak with me to try to clear their name. I asked them, do they have the Legos?
What I can tell you is that we don't have it. We've never had access to them.
It seems to kind of go missing. Parts of it seem to go missing. on November 14th.
Well, and I guess no, not at all. I'm going to say, like that is not accurate at all. Because
so you think that the collection was in the store at the time or elsewhere?
Elsewhere. When you look at Mansell's own words that he reiterated to a podcast last year, he explicitly stated to another podcaster, the sets were moved off-site for security.
The collection will not be stored on-site after hours for security reasons, and after Sunday, the sets will be available for purchase but stored elsewhere.
Now, one thing that's been a big subject of the Bricks and Minifigs kind of story is, hey, there are these off-site locations. Can you address what that is? Is that true?
So the off-site location in the letter.
Let's watch the beginning part of the Reckless Ben video, so you have
collecting what's now known as the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection ever. It's estimated to be worth.
So basically,
this man spent his life collecting what's now known as the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection ever. It's estimated to be worth around $200,000. And then the entire thing got stolen, and the police are actively working with the thieves to cover the entire thing up. But the craziest part is that the collector doesn't even know that his collection's been stolen. Yeah, the collector's son, Brian, well, he reached out to me because he has no clue how to break this news to his dad.
At this point, my father had a health episode. We can't bring any stress to him.
So basically, that's the idea that that's his father's collection. And then at first I thought someone stole it, but actually it was just
that that corporate is referring to is the original press release that we released when we were launching the collection. In that press release, because we had previous break-ins, I specifically included the location that after
and by the way, this is
the reason he's reaching out to me is because the police are covering this entire thing up. And at this moment, I promised Brian that I would not end this video until I get his entire world record Star Wars collection back. But anyways, the thief of this collection is actually a corporation called Bricks and Minifigs.
Bricks and Minifigs, the biggest toy store of its kind.
It's the largest toy store.
Bricks and Minifigs, we're not just your average Lego store.
For collectors, Bricks and Minifigs is basically seen as the best and safest way to sell your Lego collections.
I'm selling my Legos. So what I'm planning to do with them is take them to my local Bricks and Minifigs.
Because there's so much positive media about them everywhere, Brian thought that this would be the perfect store to finally sell his dad's Lego Star Wars collection.
So I wrote up a contract.
In the contract, it says that these are still the family's Lego sets, but every time one gets sold, the store gets to keep a small percentage of each sale.
This was a store's worth of inventory. So that store that day was nothing but my dad's collection. Like all the shelves filled. They had to bring in extra shelves and filled the whole party room with shelves.
But the owner of the franchise, this woman, well, her husband had to actually leave the country due to some work-related reasons.
My husband and I were planning on moving out of the country. I reached out to corporate to let them know, hey, this is something that's coming up in the next like 4 to 5 months.
She told the Bricks and Minifigs head corporation that she was planning on selling the store, so the corporation actually was able to find a buyer to buy it from her.
They let me know that they had somebody who was interested in purchasing a franchise in the area. He was going to be in town and he was going to stop by and just take a look at it. It wasn't until Brandon got there that he informed me that they were terminating my franchise agreement. We were getting threats from Brandon and from corporate that if we didn't leave the store immediately, the police were going to be called. I told corporate I wasn't comfortable leaving that night without the inventory. I was also told I was not going to be able to stay there long enough to do that inventory.
But we don't just have to take this woman's word for it. She was actually able to save all the security camera footage from that night, proving that everything she just said is true.
All the footage and evidence is there in the security cam footage. It's him at the store kicking her out. In that footage they sent us is Crystal asking him, how am I supposed to pay this guy? These are sets he has not been paid for.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours.
They basically make this whole thing
His own corporation is sitting there on video saying they're going to take it.
After this woman got kicked out of her own store, she called Brian explaining how corporate just came down and is now trying to take the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection without paying for it. So, Brian called the store to see what was going on.
Called the store, and I said, what happened to Crystal? And he goes, well, that's kind of a private matter, but the corporation's taking over the store. There's something I can do to help you with. I said, well, yeah. I am the owner of about half your store's inventory. All those vintage Star Wars sets you have in there are ours. And he goes, oh, I don't know anything about that. I said, well, you better get to learn about it because I have a contract, I have photo evidence, video evidence, like that is our collection. So I went down to the store, brought a copy of the contract. We're like, you need to let me in back and let me see the sets that you still have. All you have to do is let me in back. We can go that route or we can go to court. And the guy just looks at me, crosses his arms and goes, let me tell you what's gonna happen. If we go to court, we're gonna drag this thing out so long and you're gonna end up spending so much more money than your collection is ever worth or what you ever would have gotten out of it, that it ain't worth it, man. So if that's the route you wanna go, and I go, that's really the route you wanna go, rather than just letting me walk in there, and he goes, nope. What am I to do at that point?
Bricks and Minifigs knows that this family, especially with the father's health, doesn't have the resources to take them to court, and almost mockingly, they've since flooded all of their social media with tons of pictures of Star Wars Legos. At this point, it seems like they're just rubbing it in this family's face that they stole the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection in the world, and they got away with it.
Everybody is absolutely baffled. How the hell can a corporation get away with doing this?
Yeah.
And why are the cops not helping?
But luckily for Brian, a YouTuber ended up catching wind of this story and created a team of YouTubers to do whatever they could to get Brian his Legos back.
This is the full inventory of all the sets and minifigs. We can figure out how to get this guy his money and his stuff back.
But right after they started, they instantly stopped working on this case. So I called one of them to find out why.
So they were threatening legal action against us. You know, Bricks and Minifigs, which is a pretty big company who probably has way more resources than we can, you know, really put up a fight against.
Bricks and Minifigs knows that they can just bully anyone that tries to expose them with frivolous lawsuits. And this left Brian feeling pretty hopeless.
It eats me alive. I had terrible anxiety attacks over it, got put on medication. I just kind of was like, okay, I just have to let these freaking things go right now. Because it didn't seem like I have any path to go, you know?
Well, I guess now it's time for me to get involved. So immediately I went to my car, picked up some friends, and started driving 16 hours to this Bricks and Minifigs store. And I will do literally whatever it takes. Even if I have to take down the entire police force, I will stop at nothing until this family gets their entire Lego Star Wars collection back. And now 16 hours later, we're finally pulling up to the Bricks and Minifigs store. So I started a pair of spy camera glasses. That's what I'm gonna use to film this. And honestly, I kind of just want to hear Bricks and Minifigs side of the story.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
It's pretty good. So basically my friend said that you guys have some of his Legos, I think, and he told me to come here and see if I could pick them up.
Who's your friend?
I think they're Brian's Legos. It's like a big Star Wars collection set, I think.
You could go ahead and leave now.
Really?
So you could go ahead and leave now, or I will call the police for harassment.
Well, I'm not harassing you.
No, you are. Hi. You want to watch the cameras? I'm being harassed by you. Watch the cameras. I am being harassed. You need to leave.
Literally, all I did was just bring up that my friend has some Legos in their store, and the manager started freaking out on me. But I wasn't going to leave the store without hearing her side of the story. Before showing up, I printed out a copy of the contract the store made with Brian, saying that all of these Lego sets will remain his until sold. Because I have a contract, legal reason to be here, legally this does not count as harassment. Instead, the manager should be checking the store's inventory to see if these sets are still in their store.
Well, so here's still all of the Lego sets you guys still have.
I don't have anything to do with that, and I don't want that. You can go ahead and leave, and I'm going to ask you one more time. This is the last time. I do not want that. You're not handing me anything.
I tried for a long time just to get her to look at this contract.
CEO involved.
No, okay.
But we're getting back either way, so it's like you can either...
So you can leave. If you come back here, we will call the cops. If you don't leave right now, I will call the cops.
So you don't want to do the easy way?
So you're threatening me. What you are doing right now is illegal. It's an extortion.
So catching you guys in illegal activity, that's illegal on me.
Okay, you've been asked to leave. Please leave.
And with that, Bricks and Minifigs has made their decision. I presented them very politely with the easy way, and they said, heck no! Well, they've only left me one other option, which is the hard way. But now it's pretty much the super hard way because the police are protecting them. How's it going? We're partnering with the local Lego club, and we're gonna kind of do like an award ceremony. Like the Lego club wants to host the award ceremony for you, so yeah. And just like that, she's in. So we traveled deep into the woods and waited for this employee to show up. And with that, our new cult member has arrived.
You're the Lego Queen!
Yes, she's the Lego Queen!
Before you can brainwash someone, they have to be open to it. And most cults achieve this by making the new recruit seem like the most special person in the entire world.
Official best employee of Bricks and Minifigs.
The winner goes to Caledonia! Lego Queen! 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 Lego Queen!
Another thing I've personally seen a lot of cults do is they instantly give new recruits power. If people feel powerful, they're less likely to think that they're the ones that are being manipulated. So we got to give this girl some power.
Really? Power?
Yeah, we're giving her power.
Queen says, jump. I feel like I can do anything I want. Step on the Lego tablet.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Beautiful dock file.
You primed it.
Lastly, all cults do group rituals to make you feel like one with the group. So now we have to become one with this Bricks and Minifigs employee.
Brick by brick, 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 brick by.
So far, there's
now the employee is fully brainwashed. Okay, maybe not fully brainwashed, but we definitely did a much better job at brainwashing her than corporate Bricks and Minifigs did. So hopefully now I'm finally safe to bring up these Star Wars Lego sets.
We heard something about like some like Star Wars sets.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that or?
I know some of it. They were gonna reimburse him for everything, and then I think they did, and he's still upset about everything, which I get.
They reimbursed him for everything?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have any of his stuff on the shelves.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have any of it.
But just like every other cult member out there, these employees have been told a lie and are now willing to pretty much die to defend this lie. But good thing now, she's been brainwashed even harder by our cult, and our cult is now going to give her the freedom to finally be able to think logically about this situation.
So we think they've been lying to you. So these were all the sets in the store, and they're all metadata time-stamped.
Wait, we do have these ones.
Yeah, those are all his.
No, some of them I think we do still have.
Yeah, I know you guys do. You showed me one of them when I asked.
Did I?
Yeah.
Wait. I thought the cops called on you?
Yeah, all I did was...
Oh my god. You know what's really funny is after you left, I got a call from my boss, and it was like, how do we get them arrested?
Dang.
How do we get them arrested?
Yeah.
Now that we have a Bricks and Mini...
That's the whole thing that started it all. Fast forward, I don't feel like playing the whole thing, so if you feel like watching the whole thing, go ahead and watch it. But basically, he tried every way possible, opening his own business, opening a lottery, and also purchase it off this guy, and then file it against Bricks and Minifigs on small claim court. Supposedly, he won. And then when he tried to serve, the two franchisee, he basically got stopped by police. And then let me see. Let's look at this one.
Really shut down the entire
Search warrant. Stand up. Step outside, everybody. No. Don't move.
This is the story of how I got swatted, all because of Legos. The whole thing started with me investigating a Lego company called Bricks and Minifigs. The company sent two guys to steal the world's largest Star Wars Lego collection worth around $200,000. And for some reason, the police are helping them get away with it. The family reached out to me saying that I'm their last hope to get them their life savings back. The video I made exposing them was actually insane. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But we ended up taking them to court and we actually won. When I went back to the store to collect my money, they literally shut down the entire store just to avoid paying us.
Dang it!
So I personally gave them an official closing ceremony and it went extremely viral. And now the entire world has seen how corrupt this Bricks and Minifigs company is.
We didn't get the Legos back, but I mean, we shut down an entire business.
We still had to get the Legos back.
Yeah, I made a promise to this family that I was not going to stop on my journey until we get them their entire Lego collection back.
Actually figure out where they live.
Right now, the two owners, Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best, probably think that they're safe by closing out the store. But the reality is, I can literally just sue them all over again, but personally this time. So I started to file my lawsuit. But right after I filed this court case, it got rejected. And the reason was, I failed to demonstrate a good faith effort to resolve the dispute prior to filing.
Basically, before this court case can get approved, I have to at least attempt to settle with Josh outside of court first.
I tried calling Josh, but I'm blocked.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
So my only option left is to travel to his house to have this conversation in person.
Basically, if Josh wants to save the day, I got him a trophy that says, Joshua Johnson saved the day. And we'll give him this trophy, but he has to give the Legos back first.
I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but there were police involved. Don't know why, but so you got police. She was talking to explain why. I don't know why they're on their side at first, but then pretty much at the end you realize they're all in the Norman church together. And they kind of watch for their own people, I guess. And the police would just not stop coming back for reckless ban over and over. They wasted at least 10 times in the footage, but it's crazy how many times they come back and they took the paper and say they will serve it, but they didn't. And then at the end they arrest everybody.
American Park Police Department, make yourself known. Search warrant. Stand up.
They swatted them.
Step outside, everybody. Come on.
No. Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that.
Okay?
Yeah, this cop pulled my arm so far back, it dislocated my shoulder. He claims it's because I was attempting to make an escape or something.
Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that. Don't move quick. Everybody just chill.
But if we go back a little bit, you can see I was being completely still when he grabbed me, and I actually made 0 quick movements. So this police officer is just straight up lying so he can give me a serious injury.
There's a leak footage that came out, which this is all the leak footage as well. Has 4.3 million views. They pull his arm not because he was running. They pull his arm because they were afraid that he's filming them. They want nothing to get filmed. Well, so I'll just show one more thing, okay?
Episode 3 is finally finished after crazy all-nighters and basically destroying my health. But I can't post it or I will go to jail. And not only that, I will also immediately lose my lawsuit of $300,000, and the GoFundMe we made for Brian will go straight to this mystery company that
you cannot mention
I'm no longer allowed to talk about. They sent court papers to my email, which I guess a judge approved for them that this was a valid form of service. And so now that I'm officially served, I cannot even mention this company or I will be in jail and everything. Normally I would be like, screw the big guy telling me what to do. I'm going to do what's morally right. But in this situation, if I do that, then all my friends get screwed with this lawsuit, and
he's at the time
we lose
where
all the
he's
GoFundMe money we raised, like
gagged.
immediately.
He cannot talk.
So I am no longer allowed to even mention this mystery company. My personal opinion is that this is unfair because this order was put on me because this company was telling the court that I was making bomb threats. I was planning on murdering the manager and employees, which obviously I didn't do, and you can see that in the footage. The only problem is I was not given a chance to share my side. The court just heard their perspective, not mine. So because I wasn't able to share my side, I am now no longer allowed to talk about them, and it looks like this might be it. So, yeah.
And then here we got. Now we're going back to the Coffeezilla's video.
After this weekend, those Legos would be stored off-site to deter any future thefts. They were briefly stored off-site after that launch weekend, while I bought safes for the back room, and then they were moved back into the store.
Okay, so for most of the time, the sets were in the store after y'all got the safes in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ammon McNeff suspects that a lot of the Legos weren't there that night. And then on the other hand, we just heard from Crystal and Ben Gorman explaining the off-site story, saying that later they no longer used those off-site locations. But what do we really know about the Gormans? They are the former franchise owners after all. I mean, shouldn't we be suspicious of everyone? They're one of our key suspects. They were there the night we lost Brian's collection. They were the creators of the consignment deal after all. And one group in particular is pointing their finger at them very hard. It's the McNeffs who say they were behind on payments.
We started getting calls from the landlord letting us know that Crystal was behind on the lease payments at the location. We had also gotten a couple of notices from some of our vendor partners that bills had not been paid by the store. And so we felt pretty strongly that there was going to be a risk of her just, like attempting to file bankruptcy, doing some of these other types of things, which we've had franchisees do in the past, and that's problematic. So that's why we sent him up there to take some video footage. So we needed to just be prepared if we needed to do a hostile takeover, which, can happen in franchising where a franchise owner just, kind of tries to steal inventory and do some different things that way.
Okay, so Bricks and Minifig's story is that they were worried about the Gormans skipping town, so they sent Brandon Best as a secret shopper on October 24th, 2024. This is weeks before the takeover. Brandon takes a video of the store condition in preparation for this handover, but at this point, Brandon does not announce himself to Crystal Gorman. Later, though, on November 14th, once again, the same concern about the Gormans stealing or theft was expressed by the McNeffs.
Brandon was trying to make sure that they weren't taking things from the store, and so he was kind of trying to make sure that he wasn't putting things, like hiding things in the back, and that and while he was watching that, trying to make sure Ben wasn't grabbing stuff from the store and moving it or doing anything along those lines, because he just got a weird feeling about the whole transition.
She took at least one, if not more than one, cartfuls of things out to her car with her coat draped over it.
So yeah, the McNeffs say, look, they don't trust the Gormans. And they explained it, even further. They said, hey, there's some issues in her past.
She apparently has a retail theft and other criminal arrests on her record that we were not aware of.
When was that?
I don't know. This has been brought out by several people online now.
Now look, that's a huge accusation to bring up. And so obviously I wanted to talk to the Gormans about it.
They're like, she has a history of some type of burglary, theft.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they're
saying.
Yeah.
Oh. Nope. Well, yes.
Well,
you know about this.
Explain.
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
How long ago is that?
I am 45 now. So this was in 1999. This, something that happened 25 years ago, has no reflection and no bearing on what happened in the last 2 years, my management of the store, what happened the night corporate seized the store. It is another deflection. And it infuriates me. You're gonna try to publicly embarrass and shame me for somebody that was manipulated by local police department.
So they deflected it several ways. We don't have it. you stole it to Reckless Ben. It's out of random, even though he has nothing. He cannot be involved in this. And then it was lost. And now they say she stole it. They said, no, the thief stole it. So their story just not adding up. Like, it's just keep changing.
Apartments when she was pregnant and 19 years old. Fuck you. That's my response to that. I am so sorry. You're gonna have to blur and cut a lot of this, but that pisses me off. I own what I have done. I own the mistakes that I have made. You cannot intimidate and bully me into backing down when I know that legally and morally I am in the right and I have the evidence to back it up.
Wow, this is getting kind of nasty and personal at this point, and I just wanted to give people kind of their side. But at every turn, I hope you understand, I'm getting contradictory stories, down to if the McNeffs knew about her history in the first place.
Like, they're bringing up something that I told them about.
Wait, you told them?
Told them. They asked me.
They said they had no idea. They said if we knew, we would have never hired her.
Because we would not have hired her had we known this.
I told them I had a record from when I was 18. There was a family issue that, and didn't go into all of the details, but they were like, that's so long ago, we're gonna hire you based on who you are now.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. You guys can make up your own mind. My point is, one side says up, the other says down, and it gets to the point both sides start hinting that they have photographic proof from the night of November 14th that proves the other side is lying. And so I'm like, look, at this point, let's stop talking. Show me the Legos.
Where I was told we are 100% have possession of photos that prove that the Gormans are lying. And then you guys are telling me we 100% have possession of photos that prove this side's lying. Who's gonna drop the photos first? I mean, I feel like someone just has to, somebody's right here.
And after a lot of convincing, both sides agreed to show me the photos, corporate and the Gormans. In fact, I scheduled the calls to do this an hour apart from each other. But let's remember their positions for a second. The Gormans say whatever was left unsold of Brian's collection that was in that store spreadsheet was in Salem store the night of November 14th. Then you have corporate side. They say whatever was left that night was maybe $2,000 to $5,000 of Legos. The rest was either stolen by thieves, the Gormans, or held off site. It was not in that store. And on both sides, there's a lot to lose here, right? You've got the Gormans, who basically have been insinuated to have been stealing. And for Josh and Brandon too, the new franchise owners, there's a lot on the line. I reached out to Josh and he told me, I think her pictures would only show a few sets and minifigs. I replied, so if I can prove that the Lego sets were in the store, that will prove Brandon was lying? Josh replies, if it shows something different, then yes, I will eat my words. So the stakes have been established. And let's see the evidence, starting with Matt McNeff. First, he showed me the video, October 24, 2024, for a baseline of how the store looked.
So this is the Salem Kaiser location, is that correct?
Salem Kaiser location, yes.
So is it fair to say I'm seeing quite a few Legos here? I mean, I'm seeing a store of Legos. You'd agree?
There's a good amount of Lego on hand. This isn't what I would say is a well-stocked Bricks and Minifig.
I just can't believe how much drama and how much stake is at this Lego set of like something that we as a kid it's like a kid's toy that we enjoy as such an innocent thing, but the whole underlying story is not innocent.
But it's not terrible. It's I would say a little below average as far as overall stock. So now let's go to November 14th. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So November 14th. When Brandon was in there helping.
Wait, this is the day. This is like the big day.
This is the day.
Hold on. I gotta prep myself emotionally for this.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is D-Day. This is the big moment. This is Brandon takes over the store. We don't know where the Legos are after this moment.
We don't know where the Legos are after this moment. And I want to point out again that we've had this for a while. We haven't this is the first time we've shown this publicly. We've been waiting for our attorneys to give us the approval to say, hey, this is okay now to share in this capacity. So we'll go through these pictures. This is what Josh saw, or not Josh, sorry, Brandon saw. He took pictures of everything in the store, all the inventory in the store. this is what the shelves look like compared to what you just saw a moment ago.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot less. Just to state the obvious, go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like way less.
So yeah, the pictures I was being shown on November 14th, those shelves looked emptier than they did on the day of October 24th. But to be fair to the Gormans, they addressed the empty shelves themselves.
As we get to the very end of this video in particular, right here, you'll see that empty space right here. So this is the retired and certified set section that we have to keep separate from the new in box current sets being sold by Lego. All those empty spaces up there were the sets that we had on display during the day from Brian's collection that every night when the store closed, we pulled off and put back into the safe and then put back out in the morning.
So when they say, see, there's empty space on the shelves, yeah, because we put them in safes at night to keep them safe.
Because we have giant windows.
Yeah, it's an explanation that kind of makes sense given the history of burglary. Now, of course, this is something I had to ask the McNeffs about.
Is this a case of, did y'all see Star Wars sets in the back? Did y'all not see the Star Wars sets in the back? Did he take, not in the back, but specifically in a safe? Like there were a bunch of Star Wars sets in a safe. Did Brandon see those? Has there been talk of those? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. My understanding is that he took pictures of everything, and all those photos I showed you of the Star Wars were all the photos, or was literally all the Star Wars inventory in the store.
Yeah, the McNeffs say all of the photos should be with Brandon of all the Star Wars items. And to be fair to them, they showed me a lot more pictures and even showed me a spreadsheet of all the Star Wars sets in the store the night Brandon took it over.
That's the thing. They have a spreadsheet and they have the documentation of how much it's worth, basically.
And it valued to about like $5,000 to $10,000 or so. But then I had to ask.
Oh, sorry, here's another kind of set.
Okay.
Do you think y'all have all of these?
Very likely.
Okay.
Again, I'd be surprised if we didn't.
But then I couldn't help myself. I started to bring up some of Crystal's photos to see if they matched up.
Have you seen this before?
Not that I recall.
So do you see that?
Yep.
So do you see it's in like some kind of like a safe thing? I don't know if you can see the sides there.
Looks like a bookshelf to me, but sure.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I think the important thing is making sure that all of these are in the inventory for Mansell.
Sure. Sure, that's cool.
75041?
Yep. The Vulture Droid.
75169.
169 I'm not seeing, so there may be... Okay, so there's one that is not on our list.
Let's try this. 10240?
Okay, nope, not seeing that one either.
What about 9493?
So the other one is the spreadsheet from Bricks and Minifigs. But
I don't see that one either. So
there's a separate
maybe
spreadsheet.
those were locked at the time and Brandon did not get those pictures.
All right, that's kind of a problem because the Gormans had over 200 photos of this store. I definitely knew looking at these photos, there's a lot more Legos in the Gormans photos, by quite a lot that Brandon's photos just didn't show. But corporate didn't really see it that way.
But still, in the grand scheme of things, we're not talking, again, 10 times the amount of sets here.
I don't know. I haven't shown all the photos yet. I don't know exactly how much.
If there's a calculable figure that we can look at and say, great, this is what was there, I promise you it's not $100,000 worth of Lego. And so where's the rest of it? You got me. I don't know.
Maybe I'm a little too in my head about this U-Haul story. You don't think it could have been some U-Haul thing? There's no way.
Oh, yeah, have we talked about the U-Haul yet? We gotta talk about the U-Haul for a second. This is another one of those things that was like really disputed between the two parties, was this U-Haul that supposedly was driven up to the store the night of the takeover.
So when Brandon came to the store that night, he was driving a U-Haul truck.
Now, in typical fashion, this was immediately disputed.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. when he came to get the keys from Crystal. He was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about this U-Haul truck. Now, why is it significant, U-Haul or not? Well, one, a U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos, but the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifix store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one that Brandon and Josh owned, and he told me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024, and I was working under the old manager, Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon, Best, and Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where? Okay, now what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
I saw Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because when I was talking to my co-workers about the situation about Salem, and what we were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted, if you will, is what was going around. But after seeing the video of Reckless Ben, he exposed them, and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like, oh, Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us. When he was dropping off all the Lego sets to us that night. There was a bunch of used Lego sets that were like saran wrap. They had Star Wars City. They had just a lot of stuff. It was like in a medium-sized U-Haul truck.
Wait, they brought a U-Haul truck.
They do have a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. A bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, and was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
Interesting. Weird.
Just to establish, Brendan and Josh, those two guys have been lying. Well, Brendan, Josh is the one that's been lying. He said he had it. He said he would return it if Reckless Ben apologized and they make good faith and they'll return it. Didn't do that, and then later on said, "F you, Ben, you stole it," even though he didn't, just because he know he was caught a lie. He also at the time swear to God and all that, which he's a Mormon.
Said, we're just going to hold on to this stuff until corporate tells us where we have to distribute it. And we're like, oh, well, it'd make more sense if we could take it because we're kind of struggling with, the product we put on the shelves.
Oh my gosh. We really got to find out. Was there a U-Haul that night or not? Because everybody's disagreeing about it. This Eugene, Oregon guy says, oh yeah, a U-Haul showed up with Star Wars sets in it. Brandon was talking about the Salem store. You've got Matt McNeff saying there was no U-Haul there. It was a rental car. You've got Crystal saying, yeah, I thought it was really weird. There was a U-Haul truck there. So I told the McNeffs, I really got to find out what the truth is here.
If you know anything about it, let me know, because that's just something I heard.
I do, and it has nothing to do with the Salem store. Well, at least not the Salem store in the way that it is there. Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
So when there was the handoff, there wasn't a U-Haul; it was a rental car.
Correct. He was there in a rental car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think any of the, like, if you were to look at the footage, the ring cameras, all that stuff, you won't see a U-Haul sitting anywhere in the parking lot.
So after hearing all of this, I realized, look, I just got to find the evidence. So I start sifting through these photos I have, right? I realize I have a parking lot photo. I check it. No U-Haul, just a red truck out there. I check another photo where you could see the window, but the problem is it's night outside, so you can't see. And so I'm looking at everything I can, and there's just nothing, I have this alternate angle. I'm looking at that. And then, wait, zoom in on that photo. Bring up the brightness of this photo a little bit, and my gosh, there's a U-Haul in the parking lot right outside of the store the night of November 14th, 2024. This is something that Matt said he had seen footage of, and it couldn't be true.
And again, I believe I have seen footage from that night that shows clearly out into the parking lot, and there's no U-Haul.
After seeing this, I said, I really have to make a call. And that's when the story changed.
So last night, I talked with Matt McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning. You said, hey, we looked into it. There actually was a U-Haul there that night. Can you clear up what that's about?
So there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand. And I don't know if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee that worked at another location that back on the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, for a different situation that we had just gone through some things, and he had a previously, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location. You guys can come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul inventory that then he moved down, but that was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with some time after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
Yes.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Legos.
He looks so guilty right there. Looking to the side, trying to think if he caught a lie.
Yes.
Sorry.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego, but that was from a different night, different collection. The CEO says Brandon showed up to Salem on October 24th for his secret shopper job with Crystal, and separately, he also was getting a different collection of Legos that also included Star Wars, and that's what he brought to the Eugene store and the former employee is remembering. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Brandon flew in to Eugene that night. At midnight. So flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on midnight of the 14th. Went and got a rental truck, and then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved up there in anticipation, meaning a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that why he had a U-Haul? Is that the reason he had a U-Haul was for this camper, or what's going on with the?
Yes. So then what happens is he takes his rental vehicle truck, and he tries to connect the trailer, the camping trailer, to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight, and he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating for one of their box trucks, and so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th, and so he then went and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer to a U-Haul, drove that trailer down to another location where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped off the camper trailer, and then he arrived in a U-Haul to the Salem store, and then went in, said hi to Crystal, and then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and so he locks it, calls the locksmith, takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks. Brandon at this point is pretty exhausted, so and he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck. So he drops it off at midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that, grabs the rental truck, and then heads back up to the camper trailer in Salem, and then probably gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of, that's a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon, and here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checks out what we already know. Then I got sent a photo, the last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m., where you can see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. And lastly, I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta get up early for, my other job.
You moved 4 hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest. If it took 4 hours to unload, you can't also drive to another city, load and unload and drop off the U-Haul in that time. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird, and it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. Nevertheless, without more proof, we kind of have to move on to another theory of how to find these missing Lego. This time, let's take the photographs that we have and reconstruct what was in the night on November 14th. Remember, that's the moment we lost the Lego. And this time, we're going to combine it with two more things.
All right, bye, Miss.
First, from corporate, I got the point of sale records from the Salem store from 2023 to 2024. And secondly, from Crystal Gorman, I got her internal records of Brian's inventory of what was sold or not in order to pay him and keep track of prices. Now, before we piece things together, I need to address something. At the beginning of this story, you saw the social post saying this collection was worth $200,000. That's what everyone knows this story as, the $200,000 Lego collection. But sadly, that post was entirely wrong. In Crystal Gorman's inventory, which has a high and low estimate value of these various Lego items, the real estimated value is about $107,000. They give high estimates and low estimates, but that's right there in the middle. And for simplicity, I'll just be using averages and estimates here, but understand that, these numbers are not firm, given that they're unsold Legos. It's just rough possibilities. But the point is, it's worth nowhere near $200,000. And Reckless Ben, the one who made the original video covering this, said that surprised him.
Yeah, this entire time, literally every single person's been telling me there were $200,000. Like, that's how much, you could sell all these sets for.
My original assessment of about $200,000 was going up to his father's house and looking in 3 different rooms with all the sets. It was before I'd actually gone through and had set numbers and done an actual evaluation. I looked at it and went based on as things progressed and as I started to delve more into the actual inventory and evaluating it, that number changed. But we put out the press release well in advance of the event itself, so that press release went out before I had those full numbers. So we went, this is a nice even number that will grab attention and bring people into the store, so we went with that.
And still, to believe that is accurate at the high end. Like, it was one of those things where when she was looking through and going, it says this and it says this, you don't think even at the high end?
You haven't actually seen the spreadsheet.
No, I haven't.
You might want to cut that part out because he hasn't actually seen the inventory sheet.
The spreadsheet says about from between 85,000 to 120 something thousand. In the midpoint, about 107 or something like that of what was inventory. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a really big point of misinformation to clear up, because if we're ever going to find the missing Lego, we need to start with the right number, the right value. It's about $107,000. Now, between 2023 and 2024, the Gormans record sales of about $24,000 of Brian's collection in their inventory tracking list. And of those sales, Brian was entitled to about 65 to 70% of it. He was paid $17,000, which roughly tracks with that. Which means on November 14th, the big night, the remaining amount of Brian's collection that should have been in there is about $82,000. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize this is a very different number than corporate provided, who found only $2,000 to $5,000 of it linked to Brian. And later they said they only found 13 to 15,000 in total Lego Star Wars.
So you're talking maybe $11 to $15,000 total Star Wars, and that's all Star Wars inventory in the whole store.
So that's corporate side of the story, but I didn't want to take their word for it. So I went through Crystal's photos myself, which she shared with me, and hired people to go through and hand tag the Star Wars Legos that were in these photos. We looked through over 200 plus photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection. In the end, I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos matching Brian's collection that can be proven to be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now, to state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release. Now, yes, there are inherent errors in these estimates. Maybe we picked up some Lego that matched Brian's collection, but wasn't Brian's. But even though this is a bigger number than corporate said, I have to admit, even with pretty generous assumptions being made, there's still a huge gap of about $61,000 here that I just couldn't find. But then I learned Brian had made a special side deal with M&R Productions, who had recently purchased some Legos from him. And this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the pictures that M&R Productions sent me, looking at the Lego that Brian sold him. This was stuff reportedly in storage, and it's interesting because of an early inventory list, which had a column called Location that Crystal used. And it listed a lot of the Star Wars items as being located in what they called storage. Now, previously I was told that all of the stuff in storage was put back in the store, but there's a bunch that's on this list that I can't find in the store that seem to appear in these pictures. Now, I've been assured, by the way, that most of these Legos were not part of the inventory spreadsheet. They were never given to Bricks and Minifigs. This is a separate part of the collection, but I did a check, and 100% of the items that match the Brian collection inventory just so happen to be listed with a location of storage. So this starts to make things incredibly fuzzy, and I'm inclined to believe that a lot of these are part of that same inventory list. Now, if we take that value of the side deal, that's about $10,000 to $20,000 that's not actually missing. Now, it was at this point I started looking more at the point of sales records. I realized maybe we could find some of this missing Lego there too. So this is from the Salem internal store records. Like, I guess this is what is entered when someone does a sale, and it's everything from September 2023 to November 2024 of Star Wars anything. And by the way, before we continue, yes, this was all a lot of work. If you want to, please support us on Patreon. That's how this show gets made. But anyways, according to those records, about $51,000 in sales went through during this time period in a way that matched Brian Mansell's collection. Now, that really worried me because Crystal's inventory list showed only $24,000 in sales for Brian, and Brian was only paid for that amount. But suddenly, I remembered back to a time when I spoke to Crystal, and I asked how much was sold prior to the takeover.
Which is something similar from what you told me, Crystal.
Yeah.
You told me, hey, it was about 50-something thousand.
Yeah.
But Brian was only paid $17,000.
Okay.
And it should have been about double that. And I'm just trying to make sense of that, given that everyone's accusing each other of theft right now. You understand?
I mean, without seeing any of those records, without seeing those individual tickets, I can't answer that any better.
Okay, this is kind of a problem. The math ain't math in here. 65 to 70% of 50,000 is almost double what we believe Brian was paid. And digging into the details, it turns out a lot of these sales come from what Crystal's spreadsheet actually categorizes as layaways, meaning they were marked as having been sold, but layaways are when someone puts a down payment on an item and later pays it off. But the problem was there were a lot of these, worth about $20,000 in layaway, and that felt a little strange to me. And because of that, I asked Josh Johnson, the incoming owner, and he responded, quote, "There were 2 to 3 items on layaway when they took over."
So on the list of that, on the inventory list, do you know about how many layaways
I haven't gone through and done a count, but I know it was vastly more than 2 to 3.
It was about 98.
That makes sense.
So there were about $15,000 to $25,000 worth of sets on layaway.
Okay.
That's just the part that's surprising. That's the part that I can't get my head around. I go, how could, let me just be really honest. I don't believe there was that much layaway. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible. How could there be that much layaway? I don't know. It's like I don't believe, because I was talking to some people about bricks and minifigs. They go, yeah, there's some layaway. There's not that much layaway. I talked to people who were neutral, kind of on corporate side, but also people who were just normal bricks and minifigs people. They say there's not that much layaway. Help me understand why there's $20,000 worth of layaway here.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely, if you talk to other bricks and minifigs locations, layaway is extremely rare. I think outside of the Brian's collection,
Okay, good. I'm not crazy here. So then why was there so much layaway there?
No, absolutely not. Outside of Brian's collection, I think at the time we maybe had 2 used sets on layaway outside of his collection.
Okay.
It was not a common thing traditionally. I don't know that we'd ever done layaway before the collection came in. With Brian's collection, it was a little bit different because so much of this collection were new in box, all in one place, reasonably priced, and a lot of the harder to find items. And so customers would come in and put, I'm gonna guess probably half of those layaway items were not gonna be sold to the person who took them on layaway, because we had several that would put them on layaway and then change their mind. So this was something like, somebody would come in and want 10 different sets but only be able to buy 1. Can I put the rest of those on layaway so you don't sell them? I'll pay $10 to put these sets on layaway. Traditionally with layaway, we would ask for 10% down. They'd have 30 days to make their next payment, or we'd refund the layaway amount and then put it back on the shelf. Because this collection was the collection it was, and I wanted to give these people the opportunity to, to get these sets, we were a lot more generous with how long and the amount of payments that people could make towards the layaway. So a lot of these, we had several of them. I think one of the Ewok villages, we put on layaway 4 different times, and then it came off of layaway and back on layaway and then off and then sold. So a lot of these would have gone on and off of layaway and then back out on the shelf, just depending on the person who was putting it on layaway. That was completely unique to this collection.
So look, I'll be honest, I don't trust Josh Johnson, but something is weird here.
So a lot of these are, look at this, it says POS final sale price, but it's listed as a layaway, but it's sold for $5.99.
Yeah.
Because it matches with the store sale price.
Okay.
So were they on layaway? Were they accidentally marked layaway on the spreadsheet? What's going on there?
I mean, without seeing the actual sales ticket and seeing what else, what items were sold together, what else was sold with it, I can't actually see the sales ticket. We had several layaway items in which customers were putting multiple things on layaway, paying for most of one item, and then, or they were buying, 8 different things together and then putting all of them on layaway and making payments on multiple items at the same time. Our Ewok village was one of those cases. At some point he had, I think, 8 or 9 different items on layaway. So they'd come in and make a payment for a bulk payment. I've got 800 things on layaway. I'm going to make $100 on my payment. One customer in particular would do that, and then when he'd gotten up high enough to pay for one set, we'd pull that set out, mark it as sold. So without seeing the actual tickets and my layaway records, I cannot answer a question any clearer than that.
Running creative intake is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I do it without chasing down.
Just give it a second.
Found more than that in this POS data. I also found about $10,000 in sales that match Brian's collection that were not marked as sold under this inventory spreadsheet.
Some of our things that were not found were explained by the POS system because they were found in the POS system as being sold. So like they weren't marked on the spreadsheet, but they were marked as sold via the POS system. And this is about $10,000 worth of Lego that basically were matched.
Huh. See, and I don't know. Take anything happening from, let's see, sorry, I'm trying to do math here. I don't know without being able to see all of the records. There is a possibility that the consignments were ended when I wasn't at work and I just didn't go through and pull them up. They didn't get put in the consignment ticket. I hadn't gone through those consignments in a couple of months. I hadn't gone through the inventory in the back room in a couple of months. So it is entirely possible there were sales that were finished that I never clocked as being finished. I don't know that without going through and actually seeing it.
But you're saying it's possible stuff was sold, not updated on this inventory list.
It's entirely possible that stuff did not get updated on my spreadsheet. I'm not going to sit here and claim it's not possible. It's possible I missed things.
So where does this leave us? I know some people are jumping to conclusions here, but I must remind you that on the night of November 14th, 2024, Crystal Gorman was concerned about Brian getting paid or not getting paid.
He has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
Okay. So Crystal, ultimately, that's a business thing and not necessarily yours. Brandon will take, it's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
So obviously, one could see that and say she was intending to reconcile with Brian. Maybe she hadn't gotten around to it. And of course, corporate will probably take a more cynical view of what she's doing by printing these receipts. But the point is, regardless of whose side you're on, I think we can all agree there's a lot of weird stuff here on all sides. Abnormal stuff. Sure, maybe you can chalk some of the stuff to bad record keeping between the U-Haul, the layaways, the $20,000 in Lego sets that corporate called $2,000 to $5,000 that was there that night, the off-book deals. But even if we can't fully know 100%, what these weird things were about, I think they tell a story of what actually happened to Brian's collection. In a way, multiple people, I think, are kind of right, kind of wrong. The Gormans were correct that more of that collection was there that night of the takeover than previously thought. But corporate also alleged that some of it was offsite, and that appears to be partly true, although some of that is disputed, and it looks like, way more of the collection was sold and layawayed than Brian was paid for. But all in all, there's a lot less missing than many people think, especially if your starting number is $200,000. I estimated, and I must emphasize, estimated with bad records, that there's only about $10,000 to $20,000 in Lego that isn't explained by one of these sources. This isn't to say Brian's been fully compensated. Much of this, Brian wasn't paid for that I know of. So I estimate he's still out about $50,000 to $83,000 for Lego he wasn't compensated for. And I think honestly that's something that Bricks and Minifigs obviously should handle and make right. Regardless of what a franchisee does, the new one, the old one, the company behind it must stand behind their product, their service, and I can't imagine a better example of a company doing the opposite. Unfortunately, Bricks and Minifigs has chosen to deflect and dodge responsibility at most opportunities and created a really awful customer experience that has snowballed into this crazy series of events. But instead of taking accountability for that, they've taken an aggressive legal strategy, which I told them personally was a horrible idea. As of writing this, Brian Mansell is being sued for $1.3 million as part of a legal campaign against him and Reckless Ben and any of the associates. Remember, Brian is the same guy who lost all these Legos at Bricks and Minifigs store. And I told the CEO and COO that's ridiculous and they should drop this. Look, mistakes have been made by plenty of people here, but there's a lot more people who have inflicted self-owns, the likes of which we've rarely seen, by just choosing the worst possible path at every fork in the road. No pun intended. But the best path to making things right, in my view, is by just making Brian whole and moving on. Drop the aggressive legal strategy. You are a Lego store at the end of the day. You are supposed to be about fun, not about a rerun of Suits. But anyways, that's my investigation. Those are my closing thoughts. And I knew I wanted to approach everyone involved in this whole story with my results and see what they thought to close things out.
Does all that make sense to you? Because I'm showing everyone in this story and saying, hey,
the thing
are
that
any of
doesn't
these
make
numbers blowing your mind, or is any of this crazy to you?
No, it's not crazy. But what's crazy to me, again, like all the photo evidence that both sides have points to there being, sure, $20,000 worth of Lego in this of Star Wars Lego in the store that night, right? I don't know, man. I'm just like,
they're so tired.
Can people understand maybe why there was some confusion and why there was some hesitation when somebody comes in and says, hey, you owe me $60,000 worth of product in Lego, and we go, we don't even know who you are. Like, yeah, Crystal mentioned something about consignment on her way out the door. And we go, sure, we'll get that figured out. But then the guy just walks in and demands $60,000 worth of Lego? Like, what am I supposed to do other than say, cool, show me, can you show me the proof?
The problem is there's so much of a dispute on the timeline, and this is what's going to make this story so hard to tell, is like, they say, you guys are unreasonable. They tried, and eventually they gave up. But they say they tried it. They were basically met with, like, unreasonable requests, things like that. So
verification, documentation, is that unreasonable, do you think?
Well, I think they would say they provided the documentation, and you guys say you need more documentation. So I mean, that's kind of the
right. A spread, like, I understand a spreadsheet and a contract are a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we never got that. That was never sent to us at corporate, by the way.
Y'all do have the spreadsheet though, yeah? Y'all have the spreadsheet.
That was shared online, but months after we asked for it.
It says I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM Franchising Inc. Owner Salem.or bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.or at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6, 2024.
Ooh.
And when I look at it,
I'll red it again. Oh my gosh.
This is the Mansell list, I believe.
So this would have been created under, like, so we have the
y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
Well, I had no idea. Like, so if this is the first that anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using, like, Bricks and Minifigs Salem, like, and all of this stuff was archived. This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal, and we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it was. We don't know a lot of those types of things, and understand. I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't, like, we don't know everything, and we don't go, like, looking in every nook and cranny everywhere, like, we just don't know some of those things. So if that's there, we can now have our team go look for that.
When it comes right down to it, they're going to have to make a judgment call and say, who's telling the truth? The people who were taking all the pictures and say, and we couldn't take pictures of everything the night of, but we're being honest consistently, and the people who are saying, there was $5,000 there. Really? Like, that makes no sense. We've got the evidence, and yes, there's a discrepancy. We acknowledge we did not take pictures of everything, but does that mean that the discrepancy is, oh, and therefore these missing, percentage, whatever that would be, 5%, is some magical other place? Or it was sitting there in the store and we didn't get pictures of it?
If I messed up,
explanation.
If I messed up on my record keeping, I will take accountability for that. Mm-hmm. It's possible. If my staff didn't draw attention that consignments had left out, so I'd move them to the thing. Any of that, I will take accountability to that. I am more than willing to do that. I need BAM to show me those tickets.
As they promised to do.
I will sit down with Brian and talk this over and figure out what we missed and where it was missed and how it was missed and make that right with him.
I mean, that's new information no one's ever found out, so that's, like, awesome. They're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars because of their own wrongdoing. They're literally going to destroy their entire company because they're this stubborn over maybe $20,000 worth of Lego.
Sure, I'll be keeping you in the loop with what
Nice. I'm excited. This was good work. My other final thoughts is, dude, you solved it, dude. That's awesome.
They're suing them, yeah. In fact, against reckless ban and prevent him from speaking about bricks and manifest, so he's not allowed to say it. Hormones are suing Briggs and Minifix, the lawsuit claiming Brian's collection had an original aggregate value of around 250,000. So I ain't gonna lie, that is a lot of information, but gosh. Just pay the guy $20,000. Honestly, they're missing. I don't know how they do not know there's a spreadsheet going on, but when they took over, they should took over the email and check all the information as well. And if these were all true, everybody's been telling the truth here. It seems like there's just a bad record keeping, and they just feel like they don't own it to him. I think they should have just done a rough estimate and when they do the co-signing, because this is a really messy situation. Anyway, I hope Recklessman is absolved from this, and I don't know why they sued all of them for 1.3 million. And to be honest, everything that had happened with the police and the CEOs and the franchisee made it look shady, more shady than ever. Even when you see the original Reckless Pen video, you see why. It's ridiculous that they come back like more than 7 times for this. I mean, they could be friends, but it's just ridiculous. From what we can see, yeah, nobody should be proud of the Fork Police Department. I hope they have more video coming out. They do have a video apologizing for it, but yeah, I figured I try to do this video because I was really obsessed with it for the next like the past week. I don't have time to do the other stream. I'm on the road and I'm using the hotel Wi-Fi. Hopefully it's good enough. It is good enough today. So yeah, I'll resume Roblox next week. I love you all. This is Ryurokami, roll for sure. We will end it here today. Signing out.